Modular is more broken than I realized. This deck is completely disgusting, and it's not even a CEDH deck. Zabaz the Glimmerwasp is a 1-drop, colorless, legendary insect. Zabaz has a power and toughness of 0/0. Zabaz has the abilities Modular 1, pay a white mana, and Zabaz gains flying, and pay a red mana and destroy target artifact you control. He also reads, if a modular ability would put +1/+1 counters on a creature you control, that many +1/+1/+1 counters are put on it instead. What is modular? Modular reads, this creature enters the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters on it. When it dies, you may put its counters on target artifact creature. So modular triggers when a creature with modular enters the battlefield and when it dies. So Zabaz will add 2 +1/+1 counters per modular creature entering and then dying, as long as he is on the battlefield. Zabaz does not affect its own modular trigger. This deck has 36 lands, starting with 2 mountains, 2 plains, Alpine Meadow, Ancient Den, Arid Mesa, Battlefield Forge, Boros Garrison, Boros Guildgate, Buried Ruin, Command Tower, Darksteel Citadel, Forge of Heroes, Fury Calm Snarl, Great Furnace, High Market, Lorehold Campus, Needle Spires, Phyrexia's Core, Restless Bivouac, Rugged Prairie, Rustvale Bridge, Sacred Foundry, Sacred Peaks, Sequestered Stash, Shrine of the Forsaken Gods, Slayer's Stronghold, Spectator Seating, Stone Quarry, Sunhome Fortress of the Legion, Temple of the False God, Temple of Triumph, and the 3 Urzatron lands, Urza's Mine, Urza's Power Plant, and Urza's Tower. Like always, I try to run a minimum of 10 mana rocks in my commander decks. This deck runs Soul Ring, Soul Talisman, Arcane Signet, Boros Signet, Everflowing Chalice, Fire Diamond, Marble Diamond, Talisman of Conviction, Krark Clan Ironworks, and Forsaken Monument, which isn't technically a mana producer, but it might as well be, seeing as how it doubles or adds an additional colorless for every colorless mana source you tap. Alright, so this deck runs 30 other creatures besides the commander. So starting with just the modular creatures, we have Arcbound Javelineer, Arcbound Mauser, Arcbound Worker, Arcbound Ravager, Arcbound Slith, Arcbound Stinger, Arcbound Shikari, Arcbound Tracker, Arcbound Crusher, Arcbound Hybrid, Arcbound Reclaimer, Arcbound Whelp, Arcbound Bruiser, Arcbound Slasher, Arcbound Fiend, and Arcbound Overseer. Alright, the rest of the creatures in this deck aren't modular, but support the artifact theme. These include Esper Sentinel, Oswald Fiddlebender, Steel Overseer, Sir Ginger the Meal Ender, Audacious Reshapers, Imperial Recruiter, Lae'zel Vlaakith's Champion, Recruiter of the Guard, Scrap Trawler, Scrap Welder, Slowbad, Iron Goblin, Teshar Answer's Apostle, and Bronze Guardian. Taking care of business means removing problem creatures. On that note, this deck runs Path to Exile, Swords to Plowshares, Lightning Helix, Sacred Fire, Foundry Helix, Scourglass, Spine of Issa, and Soul Scour. 2 of these are board wipes that don't affect most of our board, and 1 of these can target any permanent. Normally I'd be talking about card advantage here, but the advantages here are specific to this deck. So because of our modular and artifact themes, we have Thrill of Possibility, Throne of Geth, Unbounded Potential, Dismantle, Trash for Treasure, Mystic Forge, Forge Armor, and Roar of Reclamation. I don't have a specific category for these cards, but they are important to the deck nonetheless. First up, we have Abiding Grace, Idyllic Tutor, Sunforger, and All Will Be One. The strategy is fairly simple. Get out modular creatures, use Zabaz to sacrifice modular creatures, or destroy them as it is labeled, and use various effects in the deck to get modular creatures back. Rinse and repeat. Winning combos in the deck include using any of your artifact sacrifice outlets to sacrifice Spine of Issa and cast over and over to wreck people's boards. With All Will Be One on the field, modular creatures go brrrr. Sunforger can tutor up any of your instant speed creature removal and cast them. Soul Scour and Scour Glass will leave you virtually untouched while your opponents have very little board left. Oswald can help tutor out your modular creatures and also create extra modular triggers. Both Imperial Recruiter and Recruiter of the Guard can tutor up any of your Arcbound creatures and some of your non-Arcbound creatures. With Teshar and Scrap Trawler on the field, you will basically be able to recur most of your artifacts to create extra value. Abiding Grace is amazing. If your commander is taken out, no worries on your end step. Return him to the battlefield. He gets targeted with an exile effect, just pay a red and destroy him with his own ability. I built this deck as part of my Bad Mechanics video challenge. My friend Onion Bug submitted this challenge to make modular good in Commander. Now, I had never seen anyone actually play a modular deck ever. I assumed it wasn't going to be good. Wow, I was very wrong. This deck is total synergy. Practically everything in the deck synergizes with everything else. I was so blown away by how powerful this deck is that I almost didn't make this video because I felt it wasn't really a bad mechanic after playing with it. I have played a game where I was able to get Zabaz up to 21 +1/+1 counters by turn 6 just through sacrificing and recurring modular creatures over and over. Now, this deck is not CDH level, but it easily could be. If you build this deck, I want you to go into it with your eyes wide open. This deck is very powerful. If you're looking to power down this deck, I would cut the Recruiters and the Krark Clan Ironworks, as well as the Forsaken Monument. If you want to power it up, it's as simple as taking out all the tap lands and replacing them for ones that come in untapped and swapping out all of the mana rocks for the fast mana rocks, essentially. Anyway, thanks again for watching. If you would like to support my content, please hit that like button. And if you aren't subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe. If you would like to make a suggestion for another deck build in this series of bad deck ideas in Commander, feel free to leave a comment down below. Once again, I want to remind you that I do have a link in the description to the full deck list over on Archdecked. Oh, and thanks again for watching Qleth's Bag of Decks. Bye.